A slender man was fervently digging the earth in the desert. It seemed he was searching for treasure. His eyes were aflame with passion. Suddenly his wife called out to him, her voice laced with concern. "Darling, come and eat." "Not now. I need to keep digging while it's light," the man replied, barely glancing up from his labor. "But you haven't eaten anything today." She persisted, worry evident in her tone. "I'll eat later, and the food will last longer that way," he responded. Once, this part of the desert was a fertile oasis. The man lived among green palms and lush fields. His family and livestock cultivated the land and reaped good harvests. However, after several years of abundance, came months, then years of merciless drought. The land, once bountiful, turned into a lifeless wasteland. Their livestock lay emaciated to the bone, and fields once vibrant with greenery were now just barren dust underfoot. The family survived, barely extracting vital moisture from stubborn cacti, whose thorns reminded them of the cruelty of their fate. Food supplies dwindled before their eyes, barely lasting a couple of months ahead. One evening, his daughter, filled with innocent faith, asked, "Daddy, God will send us rain, right?" He hesitated, then responded softly, "I don't know, my girl, but we pray, and I believe He will." "Don't be sad, Dad," she said, her hope undimmed. "Of course, my dear. Everything will be all right," he reassured. The man quickly wiped away the tears that emerged and left the house. He could no longer bear to see his family suffer. Thoughts of death kept him from peace. He hadn't been able to sleep for days. "God, help! You see my family is perishing. I beg you to send rain. Just a little longer and we'll die. All our supplies are running out. Please don't abandon us. Send rain. I beg you." Every day the man prayed to God, but his pleas seemed like an empty echo in the vast sky. With each day spent waiting, his despair deepened. The family gathered around the modest hearth, pondering their bleak future. They shared the last crumbs of bread, and each piece seemed heavier than a stone on their hearts. The man watched the twinkling stars at night, searching for answers. He prayed, but his faith weakened. Suffering and hunger strengthened his resolve to act, despite the seeming hopelessness of their situation. Then he began to dig, searching for underground sources. He hoped to find water and build channels to irrigate the field. Each day spent in labor brought only fatigue and pain in his hands, but he did not stop. His family's life was at stake. "If only I had known it would turn out this way," he said softly. "No one knew, my love," his wife replied, hugging him tight. "I thought it was about to rain. We could have crossed the desert to a safe place a month ago, but now we're too weak." "How foolish I was," the man admitted. "Don't blame yourself. We decided together," she soothed, aiming to ease his burden. "All that's left for me is to dig the earth and hope," he stated. The man went outside again. It was already dark. "Just a little more and I'll reach water. Just a little more." His hands burned with pain, yet he did not stop. Suddenly he heard a familiar sound. A sandstorm was coming. The family didn't sleep all night. The wind was so strong that it seemed their roof would fall and the whole house would be destroyed. By morning, silence fell. The man ran outside to witness a scene of horror. Whirls of sand and raging winds had destroyed all his efforts. The place where he had been digging was completely covered with sand and earth. "Why, God, I had almost reached the water. There was only a short distance to go. Why did you allow this to happen? What did we do to deserve this suffering? Didn't I pray? Didn't I believe?" he cried. "Why didn't you answer my prayers? Where is your mercy when we need it most?" he cried, standing among the ruins. Looking through tears at the mounds of sand, he suddenly saw a dark spot. He shouted with excitement, "Dear, come here quickly. We are going to have water. God didn't send this storm for nothing." His wife answered back, "It can't be. Everything was covered with sand and earth." He pointed to a spot, hopeful, and explained, I was looking in the wrong place. While I should have been digging here, I was moving sand from that pit I dug. But look now, instead of a mound of sand, this is where we will find water. Bring the shovel quickly." He shouted, hope vibrating in his voice. While his wife ran for the tool, the man began to dig with his hands. Tears streamed down his face. He had long dreamed of feeling moisture in the soil. The man raised his weakened hands to the sky. "God, you heard me. You created an oasis in the desert again. How could I doubt? Forgive me." The whole family cried and embraced each other. "Daddy, I told you God wouldn't leave us," his daughter exclaimed with joy. "Yes, my girl, you're right. God will never leave us," he replied, feeling his faith come back strong. "My trials were a path to blessing," he whispered, looking at the reborn oasis. "You really heard me, and your plan was better than my requests." When it seems all is lost, that's when God can manifest his will in the most unexpected way. Even in moments of despair and suffering, God has a plan for you. When you find yourself in difficult circumstances again, remember this story. Trust in God and do what you can. Pray, and eventually, you will see that his plan is the best. Consider each trial as an opportunity for growth and a manifestation of faith. You are especially valuable in the eyes of God and our team. We dream of inspiring you with new videos. Please wait another 2 seconds and subscribe. And don't forget the bell. You will see, these will be bold stories.